Welcome to the Daily. It's Wednesday, May 11th with Simon Borg. I'm Jason Segini. A bunch of games to get to tonight, so let's start at PPL Park in Philadelphia, where the LA Galaxy come to town. They've beaten Philadelphia each of the 3 times they've played, including once earlier this season, but this time they show up without David Beckham.
Yeah, Jason, big news for the Philadelphia Union. David Beckham not traveling means less set pieces they have to deal with. And we remember that the 3 goals they've given up this year have all come off of set pieces. So Philadelphia with a great chance to make a statement, beat the leaders in the West to take over the lead in the East.
Yeah, big game for the Philadelphia Union, who could jump over the New York Red Bulls, who are in action later tonight. I'll get to that in a minute. Toronto is at FC Dallas, though, tonight in the next MLS matchup. And this is a great chance for you to see some of the most exciting young international players who've come into the league this year, Joao Plata and Fabian Castillo.
Yeah, and also interesting, Toronto making a few tweaks to their lineup last weekend seemingly have worked. Julian de Guzman a little bit more defensive. Tony Chani taking more of the reins in the midfield. While for Dallas, interesting to see whether they change their formation. A lot of talk about them possibly going with 2 forwards. Big game for both teams.
With all the news and hype building up towards this Saturday's Portland-Seattle game, don't forget that Vancouver has 2 games this week as well, including tonight's game at Empire Field against the San Jose Earthquakes. Could be the return of U.S. international Jay DeMerit.
Yeah, and why is this important for Vancouver? They haven't won since opening day. They need to win their games at home. They've struggled a little bit on the road, although they picked up their first point last weekend. Points at home key. They're saying they need these 3 points.
All right, well, you can watch all 3 of those games on Matchday Live tonight on MLSsoccer.com. The final game, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, the New York Red Bulls traveling up to Montreal to take on the Montreal Impact. And, of course, this is interesting as Montreal will enter MLS next season.
Yeah, in Montreal, the Impact are worried about this being a really first test for the players they have on that squad, see how they match up against MLS opposition. The Red Bulls taking their full squad with them, aside from a few injuries, but Henry, Marquez expected to play to start the match, and both sides will go with their first squads in that first 45 minutes.
Yeah, and could get a chance to see Juan Agudelo play all 90 minutes. He hasn't seen a ton of playing time because Henry and Rogers have been playing so well. That game is streaming live tonight on NewYorkRedBulls.com, so you can check that out. Well, Simon, the hype continues to build for Seattle against Portland. That game is Saturday night. What's in the news this morning?
Just when you thought, Jason, that there could be no more fuel thrown onto this fire, the assistant coach from the Seattle Sounders, Brian Schmetzer, says that Seattle is Portland's big brother heading into this match. That's not going to go down well, I think, in Portland.
All right, final reminder for you. The Tiro Libre podcast came out yesterday. Omar Bravo of Sporting Kansas City on that, talking about coming back from the hernia surgery that he had. Also, MLS Player of the Week, Joao Plata. You can get that on iTunes. You can also listen to it on footballmls.com. We'll be back on the Daily tomorrow.